All right. Looks like we're live. This is the first time I've ever done this. I'm horrible with social media. Slowly getting better, but welcome. The first thing to do is to start putting together the sensors and charging them for when people arrive for private demonstrations and warm up. I'll be in and out. Let's see. I think I'm going to need a new microphone next time, though, something I can wear loud or something. While we've been charging that, I will warm up my body slightly. We've got a nice ProLast bag here. I don't own it, and it's not an advertisement plug, but I do like the structure of it. Pretty thick and dense on the outside, 150 pounds, and currently it's bleeding its inner stuffing, so it is held in place by a 25-pound weight plate. Let's see how that goes. It moves, not hard. So when I do this warm up, it's one of those drills that looks like nothing. And I'm helping to wake my whole body up. There's an artist, an instructor named Bill Koenig from upstate New York. And he talks a lot about how to get your body mass into a punch. How sometimes when people look like they're doing a push, they're actually just learning to get their body mass inside. It's not exactly what I teach, but it's not the farthest away, and you might see some elements of that in here. I worry too much about stances. If I was doing this traditional karate, you would see a lot more of this sort of thing, which you can do, When I train, I keep it a lot tighter usually when I'm actually training, so. Not to mention the stances should be dynamic. Done other videos before about the difference between pushing a bag and sort of shocking it or jumping it or denting it or letting it fly away. You can see a little bit of that even as I just begin to warm up my very initial movements here. You don't want to push, and certainly you don't want to push the bag. Just because the bag is swinging doesn't always mean you're doing something wrong. I know that a lot of boxers say, sting the bag, snap your punch. You can do a ton of that too. There's a lot of that that's very good, fast strikes. When we look at these a little later, these kind of things, you can have, come back here, that. You see sort of wobbling. You don't see like a movement. As we warm up, as people come in for later tonight, and prepping for that, people who come in early, we'll probably do a little of that together. The initial connect needs to be soft, right? Shoulder placement. A lot of times we test people's stances, because those in the karate background, we see how much weight they can support. But this is 150 pounds, and I squeeze that plate beneath it. I'm supporting some fraction of that with just my front hand here right now. And as I do that, I certainly don't want to come through and push the bag, right? Notice what's happening here. Look at my shoulder, right? Completely push it. So like a 1-2 action as well. But when I get here, I'm very concerned about the type of stability that we see, the type of ricochet that we see. So even there, catching the bag, boom, comes back, right? Is that weak? Well, I can improve that right now. And now there's no drop back. The best way to support this, though, is not just with the upper body. We support it with the lower body, so we're not supporting it by as strong as we can, pushing with the arm. You can even see how they still push my shoulder backwards. Bill does something a little bit more like this. Bill from upstate, straight circle martial arts, great guy. Does a little of this sort of, right? Now again, this bag weighs 150 pounds. I weigh 150 pounds, slightly more after my last competition, so right. Big boy. Here we have another one. This is a Pro Last, only 70 pounds, right? So we'll play with that a little bit later. Continue setting up a bit. This is our event. If you guys like what you see here, and you were impressed by something you're watching remotely online and you want to donate to my research fund or to tip somehow in proportion to the usefulness that you derive from it, you can scan this code or you can look up for Technique Consulting, LLC on Venmo. Thank you for your attention. Continue to set up. A lot of people get power in different ways. It's kind of nuts how many different ways you can hack the body's mechanics, but it all comes down to very, very core principles. So Tony Jeffries, the former Olympic boxer, when he punches, and of course, big emphasis on rotation, he does something beautiful with his lower body. He comes in, he whips it, and then drops. This is not an unheard of way to cause power. Most people turn. They turn further in. Personally, I do it because I can without turning much at all. Just here, you can go straight in. So There doesn't have to be a lot of sound. You might notice there is almost none. It can be. What am I doing different if I'm back here? Versus you can do both. Say do a palm strike. Right? As we'll get into during the event and later on, sound is subtle. Subtle in the sense that there are different types of sounds that I look for. They're not always the ones that sound the most impressive to an onlooker. Striking is not just punches, of course. Let me check the battery in my sensor. %95% on that one. All right. Swap. Most of this is going to be really boring, so if I need to, I will take a break, take a pause, take us offline. Let me see if there's an easy way to do that. You guys can move that. It's not easy to do remotely right now. So when it's time, I'll just mute it, and I'll do that now as an experiment. A lot of people use bands in really weird ways. Like, so many people online punch like this. And it's great for speed, they think. But how about structure? So they land and it pulls it right back, right? The higher the tension, even more. And you're fighting it. It's not something you normally do when you're throwing an actual strike. So, first of all, watch this delay. I can make it faster. I can make the bag move later compared to my hand. Right? Let's do one more time. Go a little further this time. In fact, I'll go this way. You have to understand how strings are used and why. The game I'm playing right now is to give myself resistance. Again, as a warm-up exercise. Like this. I need to take a stance, I need to take a boxing stance, a karate stance, Muay Thai stance. I don't need to do any of that. Just blocking my own ability to extend, right? Can I push through anyway? Can I land solid? I'm going to transfer my body mass into the punching, right? Reminds me of a drill by Boss Rutan, legend, right? He says you can't, I think I made a video about this once or twice, you can't push without a good double base of support. So he's got you pushing on the bag, pushing on the bag, pushing on the bag. You lift one leg, I lift my front, and you can't push the bag either, he says, right? You can't push the bag either. It's the other leg. You can't push the bag, push yourself away. Why not? Why can't I lift the back leg? Let's lift the front leg again. Instead of two, why can't I push this way? Right? Why can't I lift the other leg? Why can't I lift the front leg? This looks even harder, right? How do you push away without pushing back? Why not? Why can't I push? You can strike too, it's not just pushing. Think about it. Looks like we might have some live sensors to demonstrate. Let's see what I can do. So the first thing that I usually do with an athlete or coach during a demonstration is I have them weigh in. And then once that weight is stable, then I can begin taking their strike data. So let's see, I'll set up my sensor. I'll try to share a screen. And I don't know if you'll be able very well to see, but I can try to show you that whole process. Sensors in here. So walking over with me, I'm just going to weigh the entire sensor encasement first. You'll see that come up. Just good. Great. All right, and now take it off. I'll weigh myself. Clothes on, shoes on, whatever I'm going to use to strike to do the demonstration. My laptop's on. I don't need my laptop here. And then I can hop off. Take my other sensor over here to the bag. Same 150-pound heavy bag as before. And if I wanted to do a live strike, what would I do? Usually do with a partner. So here we have very simple. Push. You can see that read right in. A lot smaller than my body weight, of course. You can do sort of a strike like this, sort of Sistema style, no wind up. So we've got a couple of ways, right? We have these really loud, these kind of spikes with a little more body, right? You've got strikes that are like pushes, big pushes. And of course, you've got normal strikes. And you've got the sort of Sistema strike like that. I'll try to do a more traditional strike that's a little more from this close, but right, something like that. So there you have it. If I analyze this data, little tiny bit, in fact, I'll save it as demo August 14th. That was 11 a.m. Normally, I'll save the data and immediately export it to a format that I can read in my custom software that I designed, the kind of thing that my clients get subscriptions to, if they continue to work with me. I'll save that. Beautiful. I'll give it a nice name. What can we call this? Same thing, right? 0. And then I can begin to read the data, right? So let's see if I can share it now. Here, I can find my body weight, use some stats there. These strikes are not very powerful. At most, they're coming out to about maybe 100 pounds of force, a little over, maybe 125, something like that. You can see the difference between the original push and the sort of strikes, which are these taller ones here, these spikes. And this is the kind of thing we're going to do all day, getting ready for seminar people later toward the evening. Looking at my own couple of strikes here that I did, it seems to be, for the most part, I made an error on the first one I did after the push. For the most part, they look fairly clean, with the exception of some recoil. I'm obviously not warmed up all the way yet. We can compare these later. More prep. Body shot. Notice I haven't been doing any compress techniques, not a lot of hooks, just this straight, very straight punch. And the reason for that is to keep things simple for this weekend. I'm going to work on kind of a rear straight punch. It's sort of the trademark for these seminars. Improving the rear straight punch. You might have a contender over there. Got a jet.